Good morning, y'all. We got a major snowstorm in Anchorage, Alaska, and we got about 20 to 24 inches of snow. I haven't been filming lately. I've got a lot of stuff going on, but today we're driving over to the other side of town where my bus is. I gotta go check and see if they've plowed the parking lot in front of where my bus is at to see if I can dig it out. Here we go. Currently 14 degrees in Anchorage, Alaska, and I need to get this snow moved before it sets up. If it sets up, it'll be nearly impossible to move it without a plow. So I can still dig it with a shovel and a snow blower, so I'm gonna see what I can do. And of course, you know, I got some help. What you think about it, man? 14 degrees. Whenever the sidewalks aren't plowed, people walk down the road, but I'm not sure what that guy was doing because the sidewalks are plowed. The place is beautiful in the winter. Like they finally plowed. It snowed on Thursday and Friday, and the city was not plowing, and I'm not sure why. They said that they were going to start plowing on Monday, but it looks like they're hitting the major roads. The side roads are all still packed with snow, and it's rough. Well, it's looking pretty good. Merrill Field looks like it's been plowed. Look at that sunrise. The sky's beautiful. Of course, the sun's coming up behind me, but the clouds in front of me look awesome. Well, it looks like they're out here plowing. I just need to go over and find out if my bus is plowed out. Like they haven't plowed out the yard where my bus is, so just needed to come over and figure that out. All right, well, it looks like I'm not gonna go dig the bus out today. We have like a little Chevy Spark that's parked over there, and I need to get it dug out because it's for sale. But they're doing it. It'll be a couple of days and they'll have it dug out. The only issue is I'm leaving for Louisiana in 2 days. We're going on vacation. And if I let this snow set up without digging it out, it's gonna be trouble. It's gonna be hard to get that Chevy Spark out, and hard to get my bus out in the spring. So I need to figure something out before it's too late. Plows are out here working though. This guy's clearing the sidewalks. Out here doing the Lord's work. City maintenance guys are clearing all the roads. know if you saw the homeless guy sleeping on the sidewalk in front of that business, but it's absolutely tragic that we have as many homeless people in Anchorage, Alaska as we do. And the city has been trying to buy properties and all kinds of facilities to, here, check this out. That's what I'm talking about. We have a lot of homeless here in Anchorage, Alaska, and you know, a lot of it's alcohol and drug abuse. There's various reasons why people are homeless here, but we don't really have the amount of facilities to house them. So I heard recently that the city built a new transfer station, and the city took the whole office building that they used to use and they put everybody in that office building, and so they're able to house about 150 people. But we have thousands of homeless here in this town. I don't really know what the answer is to help the homeless population here. There's a few programs that the city has set up, and there's a few churches that have set up some places where they can feed them and house them. But most of the places, they have to be sober to stay there, and so a lot of them just opt to live out in the streets, and it's sad, really. It's addiction. So I don't know how we can help them. Maybe a facility where we can help them get off of drugs and alcohol. Most of them don't want help. They just want to stay in it. So it's pretty wild. Looks like APD had a guy in handcuffs in front of that coffee stand. I don't know if he was trying to break in or what the deal is, but I'll drive by the new homeless shelter over here at the dump here in a second. There's usually lots of people out there walking around. So I just left my work, and this is about a half a mile from where I work. My favorite coffee stand, Brewed Awakenings. This is AIH, and they just built a new transit station for the dump right over here. Big old facility. Here's some homeless guys out in the streets. And this is what they converted to a homeless shelter. This facility right here. That's the old dump. This is the new dump. So I guess you're probably wondering why I'm bringing all this up. I fought with addiction of alcohol for many years. I was in the military, picked up an addiction to, you know, drinking beer, but it turned to hard alcohol when my wife got diagnosed with multiple sclerosis in 2007. And I went down a pretty hard path of, I was drinking at work and stuff like that. I was trying to self-medicate, basically. And, you know, it was a wild ride for me. Woke up in Kincaid Park on a Wednesday at noon, and my wife had been diagnosed with multiple sclerosis at that point for probably a year. And woke up in Kincaid Park, and you know, I was supposed to be at work, and my phone had 100 phone calls on it, and I had really never done anything like that before. And finally made it home, and my wife basically told me, I can't do this anymore. I can't deal with your addiction and this disease that I've got. And so she told me she didn't want to get a divorce, but I just needed to figure it out. And so she set me up an appointment with a pastor at a little Assemblies of God church that was near our house, and his name was Pastor Lindsay. I went and had a meeting with him. Hold on a second. So I went and had a meeting with him, and I sat there and talked to him for 30 minutes and basically told him my whole life story and how and why I was addicted to alcohol and etc. And he basically just said, well, what do you want me to do for you? And I laughed and I said, yeah, there isn't anything you can do for me, right? And he said, hey man, on Sunday it's Father's Day, and Father's Day weekend. He said, you should come to church, bring your family. And so I did. And the backstory to that is I really wanted nothing to do with God. I was raised in church, wanted nothing to do with God. I didn't want to go to church. I didn't want to have anything to do with it, but the Lord was working on me. And so I go to church on Sunday, bring the whole family, and during the worship service, I broke down and I just asked God to take the desire of drinking alcohol from me. And I felt it leave. And God healed me of alcoholism. And so ever since then, that was 2008 when that happened, I haven't had a drop of alcohol or liquor. I've been completely sober. I quit chewing tobacco and everything. I've just recommitted my life to Christ, and I just started living my life for Him. Raised our kids in church. Patty and I started attending church regularly, and healed our marriage, healed me. And if it wasn't for MS, I wouldn't be where I'm at, I guess. So that's the story behind why I just feel bad for these guys who are homeless out there. Another thing you don't probably know about me is when we moved back up to Alaska in 2001, we were homeless. We didn't have a place to stay. We bought a Blazer. We stayed in it. We stayed on people's couches that we knew, and we basically just lived not on the streets, but you know, out of a Blazer. I think that started in like June of 2001, and I got my job at Stusser Electric where I work in June 26th, I think, of 2001, and I saved all summer. And September 11th, whenever they hit the Twin Towers that day, I went and got us an apartment. And when I went down there to go get the apartment, I had saved an additional $1,000 because they wanted $1,000 down plus the first month's rent. And so whenever I went to hand her that $1,000, it would have been all of the money I had in my pocket, and I wasn't getting paid for a couple of weeks. But the lady goes, you know what? After September 11th happened, and we watched that happen that morning, she said, we live in a messed up world. She said, take this $1,000 and put it towards, you know, putting stuff in your new home or whatever. And so September 11th is when we moved into our apartment. Been here ever since. I was stationed here in the military, 95 through 97, and then left and came back in 01. And so we've been here ever since, just building a life for ourselves, raised 3 boys. And I didn't know this video was gonna go take this direction, but I see all these homeless guys out here, and Patty and I were homeless. We had 2 little boys, and she was pregnant, and we were living out of a Blazer. And so the Lord had His hand on everything that we've done up till now. And so I give Him all the thanks and all the glory. So that's that's our Alaska story. Anyways, I thought this was gonna be a watch me dig my bus out of a big snowbank, but they haven't plowed the parking lot yet, and so I'll have to deal with that on another day. But thanks for riding around with me in Anchorage, Alaska, talking about the homeless population, how I was homeless, and how I recommitted my life to Christ and got out of addiction. Haven't posted in a couple of weeks. A lot going on, as you can see. And if you watched the video this far, thanks for watching my video. See you guys next week. Ooh, at least that's dug out. Got a sidekick back there too.